Who to be or who not to be is more like a rhetorical question in this society, where we see through a lens of judgment that usually hides the truth. This is for the stories too common to be published, the stories too common to be ignored. To the girl who doesn't like to admit that time is something more familiar to her hands than a handshake. The same girl who would rather hold the hands of a stranger than her own. Because in between the lines on the inside of her palms is where she was never held as a kid. So she had to hold her own with hands that were already scraped from trying to learn how to ride a bike. She knows what it's like to feel abandonment, to have nothing but blood pump in your heart. So she holds on to time, knowing that at least for right now it won't leave her. To the boy who leaves, with an abused mother and abuser father, running away was the first and most valuable thing he was taught. Commitment meant as much as a cigarette butt thrown on the side of the road, a word that scared him more than anything else. So when the smiling girl begs him to stay, he did what he knew best, knowing he couldn't give her the love she deserved. To the girl with the smile, whose makeup gets darker every day, hoping no one will notice the bags under her eyes. Not from being tired, just from being sad, but no one thinks to ask why. See, there's a difference between smiling with your lips and smiling with your heart. As an optimist, you learn to master them both, and that's a skill I'm both blessed and cursed to have, both proud and ashamed to have, because I am guilty of the greatest and most frequent lie every one of us tells in saying, I'm okay. So okay doesn't mean happy. It doesn't mean sad. It means back off, because we're all fighting our own battles, and you'll never know every person's story. You just have to recognize every person has one, because that girl with too much time, you could look at her and say, she's just a druggie. The boy with no commitment, he's a high school dropout, and the girl with the smile, she's just a pretty face. Now, judgment is this word we think it's too complex to teach 5-year-olds, so instead we scream it in their face at much too young an age, without explaining that scars are invisible burdens buried deep within roots that never see enough sunlight, that insecurities are burdens we try to hide from our mirrors. I was always taught that we have no right to judge someone who's happy, but see, we have no right to judge someone who's not.